his troubles
Yeah, I
upon.
got you.
Honey-dipped tongues that spoke sweetness in the mornings, embraces that chased the devil away. We were soft. Rumor has it that we could tame the beast in a man with a whisper. Together we were angels that walked on land, a silent strength.
Here we go.
It is rumored that we were soft. Had cumulus cloudy laps a man could lay his troubles upon, honey-dipped tongues that spoke sweetness in the mornings, embraces that chased the devil away, we were soft. Rumor has it that we could tame the beast in a man with a whisper. Grew and glued our families together. We were angels that walked on land, a silent strength. We uplifted each other. We were soft. I don't know exactly what happened. We are hard now. Rigid, bruised, and broken. We've lost our magic. Now we curse the morning. Where is our elegance and mystery? Our dignity and grace? For our daughter's sake, we were soft, weren't we?
All right, so as you can see, that is showing, you know, what our culture, the mainstream culture that I feel like I'm seeing a lot of is being portrayed as. Let's go back to the slide. And so we're looking at what we can do to change that and a little bit of why and how we think that happened. So, I think that's the video playing in the background. Excuse me, man. We all family here, so don't judge us. Alrighty, back to the PowerPoint. Yes. Okay, so here's a quote from Marcus Garvey: "A people without knowledge of their history and culture is like a tree without roots." And I want to define for you what is culture. Culture is the arts and manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded as a collective. So what we want to do is get a collective idea of what Black culture is. And people who are in here today was to close their eyes and someone say Black woman, Black men, Black people, the image that's gonna pop into their head might not be the most positive thing. And that's what we want to change. So the question is, what happened to our culture? Because as the video shows, we used to be soft, and that had a lot to do with women, but for the men too, we used to be a different type of culture that we were striving towards something, and we just had a lot more collectiveness. So what I believe happened and what the research that I've done is pointing to is that after integration happened, a little bit of our Black culture became so intermixed with Americanism and integration, and we can go to the same water fountain as you now, so we don't have to learn about Africa. We don't have to, you know, represent ourselves because we're Americans now, and that's about the statistics I'm about to read to you. So in 1950, 72% of all Black men and 81% of all Black women have been married. And the source here is the American thinker Dean Callahar. Every census from 1890 to 1950 showed that Black labor force participation rates were higher than those of whites. In 1965, 76.4% of Black children were born to married women. And before 1960, the number of teenage pregnancies have been decreasing. Both poverty and dependency were declining, and Black income was rising in both absolute and relative terms to white income. So from what it sounds like, we were doing pretty good back then. But let most people tell it, we were doing worse off back then because we couldn't even use the same water fountain. And now we can use the water fountain, but less than 30% of Black people are getting married. So that correlation that I was talking about previously definitely has something to do with it. So what is the impact of that? What is the impact of negative stereotypes and a negative Black image coming to our homes? This research is from the University of Toronto, a young lady named April Kamick. She says, even after a person leaves a situation where they're faced with negative stereotypes, the effects of coping with that situation remain. People are more likely to be aggressive after they face prejudice in a given situation. They are more likely to exhibit lack of self-control, trouble making good, rational decisions, and more likely to overindulge on unhealthy foods. Now, those problems seem to be things that are plaguing our community today. Unhealthy foods, even down to the foods you eat, is affecting you because of negative stereotypes. Lack of self-control, a lot of the violence we're seeing, all the things of that nature has something to do with the negative stereotypes that we're seeing on a consistent basis. So, this picture right here, I wanted to give you a representation of what mainstream culture is showing us that is happiness and the norm. Frozen was a great movie, but I'm so tired of seeing little black girls with little Frozen dolls with blonde hair. Like, come on, that's not you. That's the most popular Disney movie now, and this is what our little girls and our little boys are seeing on a consistent basis. I remember I had a baby shower, and all of my baby products were sitting on the couch, and my grandma came up. She was like, why you got all these white people over here? And I'm just like, what are you talking about? What do you mean these white people? And I look at all the boxes, and all the boxes have white babies on it. And I actually cried about that because I'm just like, this is what my daughter is going to see when she goes to the store. She's going to see white faces everywhere, and she's going to say, well, hey, where am I? What does this have to do with me? And it's just on product boxes, and you don't think about that because, yeah, there's a little bit of diversity, but the main images that you see in the store and everywhere, this is what you're going to see. This is what the Americanism is all about. So, excuse this picture. My mom didn't even want me to put this picture in here, but this is the culture. This is what our children are seeing. This is what our children are listening to in the cars. This is what black culture is going to be defined as if we don't create some type of counterculture and reclaim our culture back. Then you have people like Katy Perry, cultural appropriation. The little things that we do have, now it's a joke. Now Kim Kardashian invented box braids, or I don't even know the name for those braids, under braids. But y'all know that we've been having that hairstyle for years. So it's very serious, and it's time to cut this out. Like, it's buffoonery, and it's not what we want to represent ourselves. So what we want to do is reclaim our culture through positive black images. As you can see, this looks like more of what we could identify with and say, I'm proud, I'm happy to be a black person, an African person, whatever you want to call it. So the practical action plan is where you all can help me out. I want to come up with something like you were talking about where we can teach African history, something where you can come and talk about the importance of fathers and the importance of getting those funds, teaching our community something that we can really do to make practical change, especially for our children, so they don't have to see these negative images. And even if they do, because they will see them, you can't hide them from everything, well, they know, oh, that's not how my dad is, that's not how my aunt is, that's not how my cousins are. You know, I know positive black people who are really doing things to make changes. So this is the perception that I want to create for every black child to feel. My mom read this poem to me when I was little, and it says, when I look in the mirror, I am bright and beautiful, one of a kind, and absolutely wonderful. That's the culture that we want to create. Not this hip-hop culture. It's nice. It has good roots. It started in the 80s, and it was beatbox, all that stuff. That's great, but that's a wrap. Like, it's not for us. It's not have any positivity out there. The positive people who are making up raps and stuff like that, let's put them at the forefront. Let's tell the kids about that. But let's be honest, everybody knows who Kodak Black is. Nobody knows who some of these other conscious rappers are. I can't even think of one off the top of my head. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. And so this is our information. This is Black Orlando United information. If you're not already following us, please follow us. Like our Facebook page. Join the community forum. And if you want to get with me and make some an action plan for us to go out to teach to the kids, start the African history class, I don't have all the answers, but I know that as a collective, we can come up with something together. So there's our information, and just let us know what you want to do. You had a question?
It's true what you say, because I volunteer for OCPS, and I pretty much do elementary no care, as well as young people, I grabbed those books that were related to Afro-American, and I read to them. We really need our history back.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
You know, I think what we're missing is the concept of money. Let me just explain something to you. BET made an impact in our culture. What are we doing to make that sort of impact? We have nothing in media. You understand where I'm going? So what you're talking about is all about media attention. We have to control media. We could start from in here. You understand? In order for you to produce what you're looking for, you need media attention. Create your own dynamics. The internet is everything. The internet is where you need to be. But if they're not seeing you, I'm telling you, these papers that we're putting together and doing the old school, I was a stockbroker on Wall Street. Let me just explain something to you. You make money when you control information. Information is the key, and the media is what we need to be focusing on. How do we put our money in the right place? You got to put it in the media. You understand? I'm not saying put it into MTV. We could create Orlando TV.
Yeah.
You understand? You know, we have the gospel channel. Where's the black channel? Where's the Orlando TV black channel?
Well, we
Or
can
something
work on
like
that. So you want to so for that, do you want to propose that we get some people together to actually start
I
working
think we
on?
can start right here.
Yeah, so we can start working on that now. Do you have any proposal you want us to start getting videographers and we start getting together and make our own progress?
Ownership takes unity.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to come together and do things in abundance together. You understand?
It's really a simple thing just to get started. You can start with a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Handle the other community and your.
And everybody promote it.
Whatever you're videotaping. You know, you get enough viewers and, support, and the next thing you know, you actually have something on TV.
And they do have some similar things to what you're saying already out there, as well as TV channels that are already out there. I don't know how many of you watch Aspire, but the Aspire Network, I don't know, Centric, we have things that are getting better, but I definitely think we need something local. There is a YouTube channel that's out there, and they promote independent artists, doing conscious raps and things like that. But definitely, I want to get your information so we can definitely hit it to the media, because that is what people are watching, and that is why there's not a lot.
And it takes money to do this, but Bright House has a business program where you can do commercials to drive people to your YouTube TV, and you can choose which stations that you want to air your commercials. So if you want to air your commercial on VH1, BET, where a lot of us spend our time, you can do that, and that can drive business to your YouTube channel, and then go from there.
And that'll also come into us doing that and getting fundraising for that too, because we need to get our foot in the door with stuff like that. And I think with those kind of things, when we go to the actual getting our image out there, that's something that we need to actually come together with and actually start putting into steps. So if we want to make a YouTube, if some of y'all think y'all funny, let's have a little auditions. If you think you can sing or something, let's make a channel that is so popping that everybody goes there not knowing they're getting education at the same time they're getting entertainment.
On Facebook. His church has something called Life Vision TV that they're starting. I don't know, his name is Clay Williams, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to, I don't think it's a religious oriented channel. I think it's supposed to be a community channel, and they may already have the platform for it. I can give you his number.
Yeah, give me his number. And we can get it, because what we could do, like I said, we don't have to try to do a million things at once. Everybody just put in their input. We all promote it, we get it out there, and then when we have our cultural day, they could broadcast from there, and we can tie these in together. We're trying to kill two birds with one stone. Let's do our cultural day, but let's try to get this thing actually popping. That's why also with the community outreach, we're trying to get the right branding, because we might be able to sell these t-shirts, which will be in the future. We can sell them to outside people who want to help fundraise by buying the t-shirts, and that's the way we can fundraise and get money also. So that's something that we're going to get going for the next meeting. I will have something that we're going to contact that person, try to get somebody to tell us how we can start promoting the media. And at the same time, when we do the community outreach, if you have designs You should have the email to blackorlandounited@yahoo.com. Send us design ideas for the t-shirts. If you have a slogan that we can put on there, give us ideas, we can vote on it. I'll send out a vote to the emails, and even if I get 10 votes back, we're gonna run with it.
We're actors as well. I have my own modeling photography group, and some of them are actors, so.
Yeah, definitely. We can do skits. You know, skits is something that's real big on the internet. So we can do a skit and the people being dashikis and they not even know that we're talking about this. I seen a skit that was real good that said, it was white person was saying, oh, I wish all black people would go back to Africa. And the black people showed up at the door and said, okay, we'll go, but we'll take everything we invented. So if you want the pacemaker, you want the light bulb, you want this right here, they took everything out the apartment. And she's like, no, I love black people. So we can do things on that kind of path and we can go that way. Before I go into too much, I did want Brother Gregory to come talk about this black-owned businesses, and he did want to talk about some ideas he had. Because one thing we're trying to get back started is the boycott. And we're not boycotting as a malicious way, we're boycotting as a way to build up the black-owned businesses. So, you know, one thing we're trying to do is, if you can boycott, we want to keep a journal of where you went. And what I'm going to do is publish the journal. We're going to tell people, well, this is how I made it through my boycott, and give examples. We're trying to put it out there that we're going to try to reinforce black-owned businesses. So, you want to come talk with? I'll be right.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing? For those who don't know me, my name is Gregory Meeks. I live in Orlando. I'm a firefighter for Orange County Fire Department. And for the past few years, you know, I've been doing a lot for the community. And this, y'all met my brother already. Partner in crime, but we don't do no crime. One of the things I was going to come up to talk about, I think was already elaborated on a little bit, is community control. But I'm going to go take it a little further, and how to bring business to your communities. All right, I'm talking about on a community control level on how to bring down like the police brutality, the shootings, the police violence amongst our people. So community control is good, as you gotta have a group of people, you know, that walks around your communities just to make sure everybody, you know, everybody is good. People go door to door through certain times throughout the night. You have to have males, you have to have women, just to make sure things are going good. But I take it a little further. I go and I say we need to go get deputized, because it's good to have people controlling your communities, but the main difference between community control and people being deputized are weapons. I mean, I'm a concealed carrier. You could be a carrier, but the majority of people who's like walking around the neighborhood, I mean, they just walking around, make sure nobody's out of trouble. You gotta call the police. But if you have a group of people that's deputized in your own community, you don't have to call the police. It stays in the community. The people that's deputized in your community, they can make the arrest, and they take the people to the local law enforcement. That way, everything stays inside your community. Nothing has to go out. You don't have to call no racist police officer. They come shoot up the scene, they handle our women and handle our children unjustly. And the way you get deputized is, you don't go through the police department, like the city. You have to go through the county, the sheriff's department. The sheriff, they actually can deputize, because it's big in Texas. It's real big in Texas. It was actually a small town in Texas. It was a small town that came together. They went to the government, and they said, we don't want to pay taxes to your law enforcement. So that same amount of money that was paying for their taxes, that same amount of money went to them so they could police their own community. They have their own vehicles, they have their own weapons. They do that. We still have the power to do that. We just don't know about it. So it's not a long process. You can't have a felon. It can't be a felony. You go to the sheriff. It's about a 6-month process. And I ain't bringing the paperwork. I should have brought the paperwork. The next time we meet, I'll bring the paperwork and show how to do it. And it's just you go through the school. You go through the police academy. You go through the whole process, and when you're done, you're not a police officer, but you're being deputized as basically the sheriff in your community. Then with that as well, you also get a gun. men and women can do it. So now you have just made your own community safer with your own people. And that's something I think every black community, so-called black community, so-called black town, we all have to look into, because I believe that's very important. Another way we could bring economics into our communities low costly with that is also, I said, you know, boycotting. But boycotting what? Remember back in the day when they boycotted the bus system, it's a lot of people who have jobs, it's a lot of people who don't have jobs, correct? So for the people who don't have jobs, let's say for example, you have a job but you don't have a vehicle. She has a vehicle but she does not have a job. She could be the designated, you could get a group of people, they could be the designated people in that town, in that area, that could be like the cab of that town. Y'all just brought your own business, transportation business, to your own community. It's low cost, they have a lot of money, so you can have these designated amount of people. Okay, these are the people who are gonna take the people to work, and y'all could come up with a plan and a price to pay those people. Boom, now you bring in more economics inside of your own community. You don't have to catch the bus, you don't have to catch a taxi cab, you don't have to do none of that. So you bring in business inside your own community just by doing something simple as that. People take people to work all the time. Uber, there you go, you can be your own neighborhood Uber. And with that money, I see the hand up.
What you said, I've witnessed that a couple of years ago in the community. I live in a sub-complex in the Circle and Home Association. So we had some people that moved in.
It was called an organization called the Red Beret.
Yes.
It was up in New York. It started up north.
Yeah.
With you know, this is when things was real bad for our people.
Yeah.
So they got a group of our own so-called black people together. They started an organization called the Red Beret. And we started policing our own community. They started arresting drug dealers, people who beat on their wives. They get them, they attain them, and they take them to the authorities. You know, but if something, you know, they all had weapons. If it was a murder, they you know, took down the person. We did that. We policed our own communities. That's something we had to get back to.
Were they deputized too?
It was deputized. They were all deputized.
That's something, you know, we don't need everybody to do it. We just need, you know, some people to do it. You know, if you got time to do it, and we get 10 people within us to do it, and then those 10 people go out with each group, that's gonna be a good look.
Well, if you got like a, you know, young son, women as well, you know, we all got that son at the house. We all say, I don't know what he gonna do. There you go, boom. He can, that could be his natch. He can make his difference. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love that. The one thing I wanted to add is the importance of having a relationship with the community that you are deputizing.
Right.
Because I think that's one of the issues with law enforcement, they're disconnected from the community. And you don't want to recreate the same thing where, you know, ego comes into play and I'm the deputy in this town.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
you know, like you're disconnected from the very people that you're supposed to be protecting.
People who are deputized they've always been the people who live in that community. And right now, this is the best time to do it because while we have the deputy is a so-called black man. So, and he's from Orlando. They're from Pine Hills. That's where he grew up. So this is be like the best time to do it. And like we all said, the people who are deputized in that community, they will live in that community. So everybody will always know that person. So it won't be no issue. So like my brother said, you know, everybody does not need to do it. You just need a designated amount of people, you know, who wants to do it. And sometimes, even if you don't want to, hey, this is a need. You have to go and do this. You know, like if you got a, you know, strong young man in that house, 22, 23, you don't really see no insight. You know, you don't really see where he gonna go. Well, guess what you gonna do, buddy? This is what you gonna do, like or not. You know, men and women. So that's something real. And that's something. Go ahead.
In relation to, you said they deputize and whatnot, and you said it stays inside your community.
Correct.
However, those arrests or reports that they give, does it go back to the city or county law enforcement so that they can further take steps, or does it literally stay in that community?
Well, when they attain somebody, they actually, instead of calling the police, let's just say somebody, if it's a domestic disturbance at a home, boom, the people who are deputized, they'll de-escalate it, and it won't go outside. We won't go outside of that. But if it's something silly, like, let's just say you have people selling drugs in your own community, they have the power to arrest. They'll arrest a person, and then they'll take that person to the law, the local law enforcement. That's if they deem necessary. I mean, they'll have all the laws, the laws the police officers will have, and it just be our own people policing our own community. But for example, if a husband and wife get into it, somebody might put their hands on one another. That's something that could be de-escalated easy. If you call 911, somebody's going to go to jail. Nowadays, somebody might get shot. That's something our own people can de-escalate easy. All right, you know what? You come over here, you're going to stay at such and such house for a week. We can get some counseling.
Law, though.
But when you police in your own community,
you can't change a law inside of just.
I got what you're saying, but when you police in your own community, like when somebody is deputized, they are the sheriff. Basically, you are the sheriff of your town. Okay. You don't.
So somebody still has to go to jail.
Not necessarily.
In a domestic violence incident, it's federal law.
I mean, we understand what's on paper, what's off paper. I understand exactly what you're saying on paper. Like those deputies,
okay,
if they deem it necessary, okay, somebody has to go to jail. Yes, but they don't have
so
to take somebody to jail.
If we police our own community and we de-escalate that situation for a week, like you said, come stay with me for a week, and then after he cools down, he go back and kill her, that's on your hands.
Right, it is.
See, if law enforcement does it, it's on their hands.
But that's what. But with the deputized, they can't arrest that person and they take them to the local law enforcement. I mean, that's their issue. That's their job.
And I think you're right too. But another thing too, I think too, just chime in. I think a regular police officer, they also got some kind of discretion too when they want to report something and when they want to take somebody to jail.
Right. No.
Sometimes they could be like, okay, it's not that serious because y'all both did something each other.
No.
I've seen people call 911. My next door neighbor.
I'm gonna tell you,
back home, the police came. She was beating up on him. Nobody went to jail. I've seen it before.
But you know what? Another thing too is that we're gonna get trained when they deputized. Because as far as it goes to deputy, like if you in the neighborhood patrol, we're reporting crimes. We're not stopping. We're not interceding. We don't have no authority. But the deputy, that's one thing he's saying. It's 6 months of training. Like so I would think they would tell you with protocol. Right. If you see this going off, you need to contact us.
You have the same. You go to school when you get deputized. You get deputized by the sheriff. You go to school. You go to the whole police academy. Correct. But actually, you go through the sheriff's department's police academy, which is actually better than like the cities. So they have the full training. They go through the whole 1 to 10, A to Z. They know what to do. So, but like you said, I mean, you right.
But what is your view on how that's gonna change?
For one, that changed big. We don't go outside. That's been our biggest problem. We keep going outside. When you call a 911, you're going outside of your community. You bring outsiders in. When you have somebody that's in your community that's deputized, it stays within the community. It does not go outside.
But to me, that doesn't say, let's change our community. That to me said, continue to do what we're doing, we just police our community. I haven't heard one person raise their hand and say, let's educate the black community on the law and how the law works and how to beat the law and how to not commit crimes to go to jail.
I like that. We can
I'm telling you that because I'm 26 years old. I'm a full-time convicted felon since 16 years old. I caught my first charge at 16. I got direct fire to adult jail. I missed prison 3 times. Just recently, I beat a charge in 2015. I was looking at 55 years because I knew the law myself.
That's good.
I didn't hire an attorney. I went in there and fought myself. I've owned my own business since 2012.
And that's good. I mean,
I'm
like
legit.
You said, education is big. Like, I'm big on education.
I'm legit. I'm licensed. All that. I hire people. I pay them legit with checks every week. My clients are legit every week. But I know the law. That's good. And I educate my brothers and sisters, my real brothers and sisters on the law. And I feel like if we stand up in our community, educate each other more on the law, these officers can't do nothing with us. Because see, if we know the law,
I see what you said 100%.
If we know the law, no matter if it's a white officer, black officer, Muslim officer, it's whatever color skin he is, they can't do nothing if you know the law. Now, if you violate the law, I mean, you go to jail.
I like that.
Simple as that. But if they try
to mess with your rights, and you really haven't violated the law, and you know the law, guess what? They can't do that.
You're right. I agree with you 100%. Go ahead, bro.
Getting back to the sheriff's office training, let me just say something to you. That's all done with FDLE. None of the training institution in Florida is done by a local or an organization except for one of the best police department in the state of Florida. Does anyone know that department? It's actually Highway Patrol. They're the only department that train the individuals. Everyone else goes to Valencia, Polk, or whatever. These are privatized institutions. So the law says domestic violence under any doctrine must go through the court. And the reason why, and I used to work at the 33rd, remember I told you I have a law enforcement background, the bed count, the price, the $75 a night. So what are you challenging? How are you gonna go against that $75 on a federal charge as opposed to the $38 on a county charge? We have to look at what we're doing. Getting back to education is the key. Last month, I had dreads. For 27 years, my locks was down here. Today, I'm this man. I'm still the same smart guy. From Wall Street to the feds to here. Our problem is us. We are our own problems because we don't know what we need to know. You understand? So educate us.
You know, and one thing about it, if y'all got suggestions like how you have and what you have, what we're doing, this is to build it. So you know what? Let's implement that with this. With the community outreach, let's get, and you know, Wapale, she did a Know Your Rights workshop recently. They had the sheriffs out there, they had lawyers, they had the officials out there talking about the rights. We can also go out in the community and spread this word. That's what this whole thing is for. So we could get out there, we can spread the word, we can talk to them, because I don't want to be out there just patrolling, we want to be out there interacting. So we can spend 15 to 20 minutes with each person, talking to them and inviting them to the next meeting. And what we'll do is, I know we're going to coordinate in the future, there is going to be more Know Your Rights workshop. We're trying to get more people out to stuff that's already in play, because like you said, a lot of people don't know the law. And they don't know what's going on, but we have stuff going on that can teach them. And you might want to come with us and, you know, be a mentor with us. You might be able to tell us stuff that we don't have that same insight. So, you know, I'm going to link with you and get some information on that also. Okay, I know we got a couple more, and then after this, we're going to have to wrap up a little bit. We can move out to the food court, but we're going to have to wrap up a little bit.
Go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you. I am definitely in agreement that we need to have the knowledge of the law, and we have to educate our particularly our young people, as to how to conduct themselves in a situation where they have to confront the law, or the law enforcement agent confronts them. But the reality of it is, we cannot give our responsibility to patrol our community over to the law enforcement agents and agencies. We have a vested interest in our community. And we don't really need permission to patrol our community. All we need is concern, love, and fearlessness. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said he was calling for 10,000 fearless. Of course, that was misrepresented to mean that he wanted 10,000 fearless black people to kill white people. That wasn't the case at all. What he meant was he wanted 10,000 fearless black men and women who would be willing to go into the black community and stand in between the guns and the gangs and offer to them conflict resolution. Now, this does not necessarily, in fact, it doesn't involve the police. Because the reality of it is, when the police come into our community, they come in with their own self-perception that we are the enemy and they are our enemy.
This is how we keep.
They cannot identify with a young black boy or girl who does not look like them. And this is why it's so easy for them to shoot them. When you don't hear about little white boys, little white girls who commit crimes being shot outside of the law of justice. We have a responsibility to patrol our community. So to that end, yes, we need education. There's no question about it. We should know the law. But we have to take responsibility to go into our communities, offer to our people, particularly those who are in these youth organizations that are called gangs, and talk to them, reach out to them. I'll just say this, that there's an assumption that our children are unreachable. And there's a lot of fear on the part of leadership to go in and confront or even approach people whom they think are gang associated.
Right. Scared of our own kids.
Well, we have to get rid of that fear.
Yeah. Right.
And we have to be willing to go out and patrol our communities without the permission of the deputies, without the permission of the highway patrol. We don't need permission to show concern for our community. We just have to agree that we have to unite and be in our community, bringing, as you said, a message, talking to the people, going door to door, and letting them know about their culture, letting them know the threat that they're under by the broader society, that we are actually in a police-occupied situation in the black community. And then we can resolve our own conflicts. But we gotta be willing to go out there. I'd like very much at the end of this meeting to pass out these flyers and just offer them to anyone who might know or might be affiliated with a youth organization. For this is a conflict resolution.
I need
we
more
can
of
squash
those.
the beef. How many people
Because I'm gonna need some of those when I go out.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And also,
just one other thing. I'm a little late here. You were talking. My sister was talking about the importance of media. Well, we have black media. As a matter of fact, the Final Call newspaper is a totally black-owned, black-reported, black-operated, black-funded media. You don't have to worry about it giving the slant of the social media or the broader media. Our problem is we have organs, media organs that are out there, but we get sidetracked because we erect these walls of religion, philosophy, politics, and other things, and we don't support it. So I want to give everybody a copy, a complimentary copy of the Final Call newspaper, so that you can read it for yourself. And of course, we want to give out these flyers to let you know that we are willing, we, in the Nation of Islam, and what they refer to as the military arm of the Nation of Islam, which is the FOI and the MGT, the Fruit of Islam. You see my sister here, this is a uniform that our sisters wear. But we're willing to go out. We're not necessarily concerned about getting the permission of law enforcement agents. We're willing to go into the community, knock on the doors, talk to our young people, go into the thick of where the gun violence is. We meet in Pine Hill. That's where we meet. Every week, we're right in the heart of Pine Hill. And we want to reach our young people in particular. So thank you for allowing me to say that. And please, take one of these papers, or receive one of these papers. It's free. And we want you to understand that you do have a media source. Appreciate that way, and our story can be told by us. Thank you.
I appreciate it. All right, we got room for like 1, 2.
It was just 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, who's first?
Okay, since, we have these brothers going into, being educated by the enemy, I think I spoke to you online a while back about privatization. You enlightened me about the privatization of law enforcement versus the highway patrol. You had said to me, notice that the highway patrol, they have less shootings than the county law enforcement. So being that, the deputies would be going through that training, I have a bit of a concern that there might be a brainwashing involved.
I mean, I can understand that.
But so in that case, I'm not saying not to do it, but I think that there should be also a prerequisite where we create a program that, the deputies would go through that is, that, would solidify them in their cultural understanding of who they are.
It's actually, it's this program. Not everybody's going through it, but it's a reason why these police shootings are happening. When they're done with their police academy, it's not everywhere, but it's this private, I forgot the name, it's this private organization that department brings in, and they say, okay, they put it in their mind, every time you get stopped, anytime you stop anybody from a ticket, anytime they put it in their mind, you could possibly die. So it's next time I'm gonna come up with the name of that organization. They put these officers in a mind state of militancy.
Yeah, it's a war.
Yeah, so that's why you see so many more officers more times than ever. They're extra violent. They're like, for example, at that little pool, I held the 14-year-old girl down, the 250-pound man on that, put the girl on her stomach, he put his knee on her back. Like, they're trained now, it's like coming to certain parts of states, they're putting it into their training. It's not the police, they bring this private entity on the outside, and that's what they're doing now. But I agree exactly what you're saying 100%. You don't want your own people in the community to get brainwashed.
We could debrief them. You know, we can have whoever's in that program that we choose and we find out from us, we'll still meet actively. You know, but that's one thing, you know, that he's pointing out too, that we don't necessarily need to do that to start going out there. But one of the things I'd just like to add to that is that it kind of will bring on the people who are kind of on the fence about it when you see you have that kind of badge of approval and this and that. Some people are on the fence. The people here, I believe, we're willing to go out there, but what we're trying to do is unite everybody, so that's why we want to make some things official. Everybody doesn't have to be that person, but we got a person just in case they try to play that card.
I certainly agree. Well, we need all of what is being
suggested.
Exactly.
No, that's what I believe too.
Keep in mind that the young people that really need to be approached, if you approach them representing law enforcement, they're not going to be receptive to you.
So what about that?
That's a reality.
True.
You know? But I'm not discounting it, you know.
But that's why we want our own votes
all
too.
of what is being suggested here, we need to work together.
Yes.
You see?
And I want to help whatever you got going. I want to help recruit people
Yes,
with our
sir.
meetings, and we can, you know, build that up too.
I want to expound on what our brother here was saying about the federal law, the laws of the land, and for us to follow that. There's an excerpt that I saw with Nelson Mandela, and he said, to know your enemy, you got to study your enemy. They were busy looking at law enforcement, but behind all of that, you need to know your judges. So every year, there's a thing called inside the courts. And my daughter could tell you, I'm up there every year, and you want to see them let their hair down, you can catch them right there.
Okay.
You'll get to see what's all up in there.
Inside the courts, you
See,
said?
knowledge is power, because when I got it, I can go back and transfer it and let my people know. You understand? Because yes, if you don't know the law, you get trouble.
Right.
If you do know the law and you know your rights,
Right.
then that officer, believe me, the Most High God will give you that favor. You're looking in the eye, you know what you're talking about. Back along, you will. You're so wrong.
Go ahead, brother Sam. I appreciate
Right.
it.
You gotta know what's inside the court. You gotta
My
go
name is-
beyond that.
my name is Samuel
Go
Israel.
to the
I know
judges, honey.
quite a few of the people here. I just want to say that I'm very excited to be here, to be a part of this. I'm a member of the Nation of Young, and I work with a lot of different people, a lot of different groups, and like my brother is a brother. I hear some wonderful things coming from you. That's a dynamic idea. We were talking about economics, and I know we don't have a lot of time. I have a lot to say, so I'm gonna say it very briefly. But the only solution that we need is ourselves. If we look outside of ourselves for a solution, if we look to law enforcement, and they bring a gun, we all look black. They don't say I'm a Hebrew. They don't say he's a Muslim. They don't say he's a Christian. They don't say she's an African spiritualist. They see black and they pull the trigger. We're all the same people. We come from the same God because there's only one. We are the same people. Our solution is in this room. If we look outside, now, not that we can't use a resource. What he said was beautiful. Like if, for example, in my community, and if you chose to deputize me, my sister, you don't have to worry about me. Because if I came to your house, I'm going to treat you with the respect of your queen as you are. And for the young brother over there, the thing about the law and the domestic violence, that may be a political issue, but example of Miss Betty and Miss Linda live next door, and I'm deputized, and I catch Miss Betty's 16-year-old son breaking in Miss Linda's house. If we call 911, he's going through the prison system.
Right.
And then he's going to be convicted.
Exactly.
See, I'm going to bring it back over there to Miss Betty. and me and Miss Linda, we gonna pay for whatever he messed up.
But what I'm saying is,
and
you
then
don't
only
need
get, and then only
deputized
get, but
people to do
listen,
that.
hear me out, please.
You could just do that as a neighbor.
As
You
a
know what I'm
neighbor,
saying?
yes.
You don't need a
I'm
deputized
just speaking to the
community
point of
do
what he
that.
said about being in our community, because we can have a crazy person come through our community that don't look like us.
Right.
And then I might need to be packing, and then I might need to call 911, and then I need to have them on our
But if you
side.
got your concealed license permit, and even without it, as long as you're not gonna be a felon,
And it might be true. I'm not disagreeing with you, but all I'm saying is here's the solution. And I'm gonna call Brother Jeremiah. See, you know that 16-year-old guy right there? He was breaking in, he needs a job. And he's trying to hire 5 people.
Because for instance,
The solutions are in this room.
I got a neighbor, stay down the street, and I'm black and white. My little brother is white and Mexican. He has a white friend. The white friend was walking around with a BB gun pointing at somebody. Another neighbor who has a lawn business knows me, stopped me, and was complaining about it. And I was like, nah, wait a minute. I called my brother. I said, was he the one with the gun? He said, no. I said, listen, that white boy ain't got nothing to do with that. If you see my brother doing something he ain't supposed to do, you call me directly, I'ma handle him. Then I looked at the little white boy and I told him, if you come around here with that again, I'ma put my hands on you. And whoever 911 you wanna call, I'ma deal with them. Cause I'ma stand in that courtroom and I'ma tell him the same thing I just told him when I beat this one charge. You want me to put my hands on him and teach him a lesson, or you want him to keep doing what he's doing and have somebody else kill him?
And I want to talk about economics, but the thing is that, and if that's your passion, go so be it. What I've learned is I'm not planning on going before those judges. So because that blind justice, they have a different look at you. So if you know the law, we need you to come and educate us as much as you can on the law. But it's best for us to educate ourselves so we don't go before them.
But I do like that
But
community
talking about
accountability.
economics, and I'm gonna say this real, we have to support ourselves. If we're looking for this, if we're looking for the presidential candidates that we have on this election to help us, we're in a sad state of affairs.
Damn right.
But Martin Luther King, we talked about before he was killed, one of the things that he mentioned, not the I Dream speech, but he talked about how much money that we would have as black people, like a nation, if we start spending on ourselves. Malcolm X said the same thing. The Honorable Marcus Garvey said the same thing. The Honorable Yardley Yahweh said the same thing. What I'm saying today is, when we reach, I'm a person that's very illustrative, and I'm gonna do this from the start. When we reach in, if we wanna know why we're having problems within our community, it's because what we do with our black dollar. We have to be, if we're free, see, because I'm a free man, and I try to make the best choices. Before I spend my money, I'm conscious of saying, can I spend my dollar in a black business, in a black household? Before I go outside, I do go outside when I have to, but I'm conscious that before I release this, can I spend it with a black business? We don't need anybody to do this for us, but the brother talking about economics. We don't have all the answers. It's beautiful what they put together and giving us this forum. They want us to come and help them help ourselves make this work. So on the way home, we all may be getting ready to go get something to eat. I don't know. But we need to consciously say, where do I want to spend this dollar? Because if we just go to, I pick on them all the time, we just go to McDonald's, I don't eat that. I'm a raw vegan. But if I go to McDonald's, I'm not a free man anymore, because now I'm being programmed on where I spend my money. I know my brother has food. I need to discipline myself and say, you know what? I'm gonna wait till I get to the other side of town. Or if I need to purchase some shoes, I'm not gonna impulse buy and get them tonight. I'm gonna wait till Wednesday when I can make an appointment with you and go buy them. The solutions that we need are in this room. I'm so happy to be here. We need to continue to come together and make it a reality. The only thing that will defeat us is ourselves. The only success that we will have is within ourselves. And there are powerful people within this room. There are some powerful men right in front of us. All we have to do is trust. He got a 501c3. I don't know if organization got a 501c3. But with me, if we in this room decide that we're going to start whatever the particular business is, let's break off $100 and put it on that table right there. And we have to be able to trust one another because we family. You're my sister. We come from the same people. Don't let anybody divide us based on religion, culture, or politics. We are all the Most High's children. And when we come together, there's nothing that can be done to stop us. That's right. Sit down. But I got an email this morning. Thank you so much. I'll help you if I can. If I'd have known earlier, I could have reached out to a few more people and tried to get a few more people here. So all of us.
That's the mission. Next meeting, everybody try to bring 2 people.
Conscious effort to reach out to 1 or 2 more conscious people and bring them here so we can change on that. Yeah. We can be the vision for the whole nation.
And I guarantee you, next meeting we will work on that turnout. We'll get it done. I appreciate that. That's another thing too, very important. You know, not even 2. I just challenge you to bring 1 person with you. You know, and I'm gonna do diligently to make sure I bring more people, because last time it was right after the Blackout March. You know, people were amped. We had over like 150 people. People got turned away from the door. But you see how this turnout is a little bit different. But it's not only their fault. It's, you know, I didn't get the best communication. So next meeting, we're gonna pile it up, because next meeting is gonna be the official.
This is very good, my brother. This is excellent.
Yeah. But I'm just letting you know. Next meeting is gonna be the official. Even though we had different views about it, I'm still gonna follow through with the whole Orange County, getting them out there for us to be official in Pine Hills. Now, whether we operate under that, we don't have to, but we want to get that just taken away. But the next meeting emphasis is actually getting out there with material, and we want to talk to people. You know, if you talk to 1 person between the month span and they really want to come out, that's going to build, because each person bring out another person is going to build. So that's the main emphasis. About some great things. I even took some notes, and a lot of things that we got to come together is the money, the community-based economics, and getting our money up, and also educating our brothers and sisters. So the next meeting will be emphasizing on getting material out to people, getting people who are willing to go talk to people, and then also we have to get more people willing to go out there and advertise our Black-owned businesses that are available to people, because a lot of people don't know where they're at. So I'm going to work on, and we can all, you know, if you got a project, we're going to get out in the community, and each person go talk to somebody and bring them in, because they might want to volunteer with your program. They might want to volunteer with the event coming up. So that's why I want everyone to send me your information, and I'm going to bring these people a newsletter. It's going to let them know what's coming up in the upcoming month, and we want you to be there. Because believe it or not, the best promotion is still going to be word of mouth. Yeah. We could go on the internet, we could go anywhere else, but when somebody sees you come to their door, or they see you in the neighborhood and you got this out on you, it's going to be a way bigger impact. So that's what we're trying to aim towards. And I urge you, like, if you have something that you want to present on, just so we can organize it, send it to me at blackunlimitedunited@yahoo.com. I'll respond to it personally, and we will make time for you. And we will make sure that you get time to talk. If it's a lot of people giving me ideas and I see it's like this one, we could put an extra hour on there and we can make it happen. But the main thing is, when we leave here, we have to make these ideas a reality. So that's why this was like the last formal meeting and get everybody together. But the next one, we're going to meet there, and then from there, we're going to go out into the communities the following week. You don't have to be available every day. If I get everybody here, you say you're available Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 of y'all, run it. If it's you available on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it's 3 of y'all, 4 of y'all, we're going to run it. And we're just going to get out there and report within each other and tell each other what we've been able to do. So you got something that you feel like we need to get out there, it's going to be the first step. Bring it to the next meetings and send it to me via email, and we'll get it all together. So, you know, and the one thing too about it, because I know we do got to go on, they're patient, but I don't want to push it. Another thing too is we want to also, if you got ways that we can do a fundraiser, you have an idea, a product, something that you feel that we can do as a fundraiser for this group, we're going to start getting into that, because I know economics is an important part. But we are going to start getting into the fundraising portion of this group, because it's going to be important for us to go out here, and so that we're not spending money out of our own pockets to do some of the things we're trying to do. So that's one of the things that I do know some different fundraising programs we could do. One of the things I wanted to do was the t-shirts, but if you have an idea, bring it to me. We're going to work on that. so we can actually make it happen. So, is there any, last bit of details? Oh, yeah. Go ahead. It's about the 17th? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I did want to mention that too. There's something very important coming up that we're going to try to push. And the group that we have is going to try to push this event too. This is an event coming up too.
Greetings everybody, my name is Sister Shantae with the Nation of Islam. I'm not sure if many of you are familiar with the National Day of Nonviolence that will be taking place on September 17th. We're trying to unite all of Orlando, the organizations, the local residents, spiritual organizations, professionals, politicians, etc., to all come together on one unity to show that we want and that we are willing to create peace in our environment, as well as to make our communities a safe and decent place. With this march, is going to just be an initial first step. This past Wednesday, we had our first initial meeting where we were able to split up into teams and to go in greater details regarding the march and the purpose of it. So, as we are moving with this first initial step, we want to continue as what we discussed here with, policing our own communities and so forth. But, within that, we have various programs like, many of us, we are unaware of because maybe we push them to the side, due to religious organizations, etc. But we have various programs that are in place that can help us to move forward these ideas that we have into fruition. For instance, many of us, we want to support our own food, have our own food, get away from Publix, get away from Walmart. But we have what is called the ABLE program, where you can get your own food, you can get your organic chicken, you can get your fresh salmon, and these things are a little trace of mercury, which is nearly healthy for us compared to what we are getting in these stores. We have the conflict resolutions, which is our policing our own communities. We have what is called staple good products. We are encouraged to create survival kits, so to say, where if something happens, you can be able to, have those goods in your home. These things are already set up. If we can, spread the word and say, look, this is already a program that's set. We don't have to go back and reinvent the wheel. So we're just trying to get everybody on the same page with organizing and, again, creating that unity and atmosphere, setting our differences aside to say that, look, we all want peace. We all want to make our communities a safe and decent place to live in. So let's work and let's put our ideas and our thoughts together. Because they might be something that I don't know, but you may have the answer to it. And they may be something that you don't know, but I may have the answer to it. So let's collaborate, set aside our differences, and let's try to work towards this meeting. We'll get to our second meeting is going to be this Wednesday at 8 p.m. So we'll go into greater details and probably just do a recap on those that weren't able to make it, just so you'll be at the same pace we are at. If you have Facebook, you can find the event page. It's called National Day of Nonviolence. And again, that's National Day of Nonviolence on Facebook. And it's going to say Orlando, so you'll be able to see it, like the page. And from there, you'll get also continuous updates as well. This past Wednesday, we did a live Facebook feed. So for those that wasn't present at the meeting, they were able to watch via Facebook Live, and then again to go back and watch it again if they were working or something came up where they weren't in that time frame to be present. So those things are at our access. So let's take charge of it. And, it's available to every one of us. So that's it.
I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up this meeting. I do appreciate y'all for coming out. I know it was a little bit longer than the time set, but we stuck in there. We had some great ideas. One of the main things that's going to be coming out to you, it's going to be an email kind of recapping what we went over today. But one main thing is, like I told you, if you have an event going on, send it to the email. I didn't get any from last time. I got like maybe one email, but we want to send it out for you and promote your program. We still got a big contact list. It wasn't sending out correctly, so I think that's why a lot of people didn't show up. But we'll definitely be promoting it. The next meeting will be it's gonna be in 3 weeks' time. So it'll be actually right around the National Day of Nonviolence. So we're gonna do it. I think it's gonna be actually right after that. So it'll be right to the 17th. So the next meeting was actually gonna be in a little bit less than 5 weeks, a little bit like 4 weeks probably. But just want to make sure that the next meeting we do have, if you have something that you want to present, try to send it to me before time, so I could put it in the time for you and we can allocate the time. But that's it. And if you did not get to sign in, I do.